How's the weather suiting you, dear?
Much better. The north is simply too cold. I can't bear it. The sun here is lovely, and I don't have to worry about getting sick.
I'm glad you're happy here. The vineyard is surely admirable. With some work, that could really bring in a good profit. We could make wine and sell the grapes. My cousin said there's no better place to cultivate grapes than here in the south.
Your cousin has been a gracious host. The property is absolutely wonderful, but I'm a little tired. Would you mind us sitting down?
Not at all. There's a seat over there at the log. Would you mind us sitting with you?
No, sir. Excuse me, sir, are you the northern man who's thinking about buying a vineyard?
Why, yes, I am. Do you know anything about it?
Oh, yes, I know all about it. I wouldn't buy it if it were me.
Well, why's that?
Now, I know some of the white folks don't believe in conjuring, but I promise y'all it's real. The vineyard is Goopherd.
Goopherd? What do you mean?
Is Goopherd. Conjured. Bewitched.
And how do you know it's conjured?
I know all about it. I was a slave for old Mars Ducal McAdoo. He was my master before our slaves were freed. He owned the plantation, he had a bunch of slaves. He was a real mean man who didn't want his grapes being messed with. When he ran the plantation, he owned a vineyard where all the slaves ate his luscious scuppernong. He bought the plantation long before the war, and he cared greatly for his grapes. They brought in hundreds of gallons of wine. All the slaves from other plantations would sneak over in order to eat them. They'd come miles during the night just to taste some of his crop. His grapes were the sweetest in all the town. After a while, Mars Dugal became angry over his missing grapes, so the man began to set up traps. He set up all the spring guns, had steel traps, and even tried to catch the slaves, but he never could. One night he even shot his own leg. Nothing kept the slaves away, and he was all fed up. The grapes kept being eaten, and the shenanigans continued, for there's nothing better than his grapes. Frustrated, McAdoo sought after old Aunt Peggy, the local conjuring woman. She was best known for her spells, and every man feared her, for she could goof for anyone. Mars Dugal had himself a long talk with Aunt Peggy, and she brewed up some stuff and sprayed it all in the vineyard. Aunt Peggy's spells would kill any slave who ate from the vineyard. First, they get real sick. Then in at least 12 months, the slaves would end up all dead. So all the slaves stayed away and the grapevine blossomed. Then Mars Dugal bought himself a new slave, Henry. Henry was a big man, he could do the day's work easily. Now Henry had no clue about the goopher, and so he ate the grapes. Then the slaves told him about the goopher.